Who are you letting into your boat? Mark chapter 6, verse 51. Then Jesus went into the boat, and the wind ceased. That's Mark chapter 6, 51, part A. Now, this is one of the greatest miracles. In fact, it is so great that it is recorded across all the Gospels, in Mark, in Matthew, and in Luke, where Jesus calms the storm. This was the second time actually that Jesus calms the storm. The only difference is, in the first instance, Jesus spoke to the winds. In this particular instance, in Mark 51, Jesus has fed the 5,000, and then he sends his disciples out. And then as they are far off, the wind comes, the storm comes, and the boat is, gonna break up. And then they see Jesus walking on the water. And then in Mark actually talks about Peter asking, if you're the one, and if you're not a ghost, then tell me to come. Peter goes, his eyes on Jesus, but then when he looks at the wind, he begins drowning. Something is really interesting in this portion of scripture where we've read, and it is the portion that when Jesus stepped into the boat, the wind stopped. My question for you is, are you letting God come into that boat, especially when things are not right? Now, we often cry out to God and tell him, God, save me from this. God, push me out of this. Our perception is that God will remove you from a situation. But how about we change our prayer and we ask that, God, shall you be in this with me? Lord, shall you sit in this same situation with me? Because I'm telling you, friends, where the presence of God is, freedom is. Where the presence of God is, transformation is. So stop fighting so hard for the hand of God and start fighting as hard for the presence of God. Stop fighting as hard for the push of God, for God to push or pull you, and begin asking for his presence. Because when you receive his presence, then he will settle the things that bother you most. From the portion that we've read, when he climbed into the boat, the storm ceased. Interestingly, when Peter climbed out of the boat, nothing happened. But when the Christ climbed into the boat, it made all the difference. Maybe you need to let him climb into your boat. God bless you.